Okay, I think we're live. Hello, welcome for this series about the Advent. And today, the Gospel will look the verse 80. It's just one line that the little boy, we saw the birth of John the Baptist last time. The little boy grew strong in the spirit, and then he left the city to live in deserts region. So here we are back at the Cappella Tornabuoni. Show you, we are in the Basilica of Santa Maria Novella here in the Tornabuoni Chapel. So we saw the other episodes. Now the this one that we're about to see is basically next to the window. You could see right here on the right wall on the main chapel of the Basilica of Santa Maria Novella in Florence. There are episodes of Zacharias and St. John the Baptist, the birth of the Baptist here, circumcision, we saw it yesterday, and the preaching of St. John the Baptist and the baptism of Christ, and then on the top, the dance of Salome and the death of St. John the Baptist. So it just ends up in this magnificent architecture. And the Gospel of Luke goes far ahead. It doesn't just tell us what happens in the next month, in the 6 months before the birth of Jesus Christ, between the birth of St. John and the one of Jesus Christ, but actually tells us they grew up and he went to the desert before showing himself to Israel. So on the side of the chapel, right next door between the fresco and the window, right above the portrait of the wife of the Giovanni Tornabuoni, the and you could see St. John leaving, going to the desert. I have a picture here to show you. You could see the little St. John leaving the city behind, looking back as if, you know, he's leaving the his family, his city to go into the desert, meditate, and for his faith. You could see this rock along the path of the figure symbol of his path. And he's wearing this red mantle that shows the passion is an anticipation of the passion. And then he's got this kind of furry sweater. It's actually a camel skin. Camel was an impure animal, so it represents the fact that it goes out to be actually into a sort of meditation and self constraint in order to gain his spiritual goals. Now, the artwork I would like to use today to illustrate this, it's a painting which was painted in Florence about 1445, so early Renaissance, about 14 years before the chapel, which is actually again in Washington, in the National Gallery of Art in Washington. And it's a small part of a larger altarpiece, which was in another church in Florence, Santa Maria de Magnoli, which is on the southern side of the River Arno, next to the next to the Ponte alle Grazie. And you could see at the bottom of this large square altarpiece, one of the early altarpieces that got rid of all the Gothic framing and the gilded background. At the bottom there were 5 predelle, 5 smaller scenes from the life of the saint, typical of that this painting represents a number of saints, and there's a story of each one of them at the bottom, including Saint Lucia. The polyptych of Saint Lucy is basically the artwork where this comes from. And then there is, of course, with the Virgin Mary at the center, and then 4 saints on the side, Saint Francis and John the Baptist, and so on. The saint is represented in a very innovative and unique way. Now, this is a painting by an artist called Domenico Veneziano. We don't really know much about the fact that he was from Venice, but he worked mostly in Florence and Umbria. He was one of the first artists to work for the Medici, the Medici, and Il Gottoso. And in this case, he also put the very early elements of Renaissance in a painting that, for some aspects, is still Gothic element. First of all, there is a beautiful use of the male of the the naked body here, which was started to be represented again in the Renaissance. Just a couple, about 10 years before this, Donatello made the beautiful David. So using Roman models, ancient Roman models, they actually brought back the nude as an artistic masterpiece. In this case, St. John is young, is living his clothes, his city clothes behind, and wearing the camel skin. And you can see there's all this bush is quite lost spice, quite inhospitable, and especially the mountains are quite real. They represent the arid lands and the difficulties that is about to face in the spiritual journey. And so they are kind of, this is one of the first known use of the landscape as a way to show the inside, the feelings, what's going on in the soul of the person. Something that we would not see until the Baroque age, until basically the beginning of the Baroque age, or maybe in the Venetian art, it can be found in Giorgione in the 1500s, but not many artists until the early 1600s. So it's really, really way ahead of its time. There's this narrow river, with very great difficulties goes beneath the rocks, and then you can see on the path there's a number of rocks again to represent all the difficulties. The path is about to choose. It's hard, it's rocky, it'll be really a difficult journey, but he does that nonetheless. And he's very young. He's got the halo again, which is quite three-dimensional. I love the way he's put the halo in this three-dimensional way rather than the usual kind of flat round one. And the rocks and the mountains are really amazing. It's really a lovely art piece. It was in Florence till probably the 1800s, and then it was sold to the international market and landed in the 20th century in the United States. It's really an amazing depiction of St. John, and quite unusual. I really love this painting. So Domenico Veneziano, it was a follower of Gentile da Fabriano, so influenced by Benotto Gottoli, the early Florentine artists who basically created the basis for the Renaissance. They were their art was the ones that really was supported and fostered by Cosimo the Elderly, Cosimo de' Medici, who brought a new fashion of making art in Florence at the beginning. Thank you very much. So stay tuned. We got two more of these meetings. We got one tomorrow about the first episodes of the birth of Christ, and then the birth of Christ on the 14th. I'll be doing a long, an hour 15 in Italian, and I'll be doing a version in English afterwards. So stay tuned. And then after that, from the 15th, I'll be publishing the same tours over and over till Christmas Day. So you can, if you missed it, you want to watch it again, you'll be able to see the shorter version of this one. Thank you very much. Good night.